Alright guys, we're going to do a little Scooby diving today, and river actually looks pretty clear. I'm not going to chit chat a lot about what we're going to do because it's late in the day and I want to get in the water. What I want to do is swim out there. We're going to look around with a metal detector, see what we can find. There's some big insulators out here that I showed on another video. And I'm going to collect up 2 of those for a guy that's involved with the train or trolley museum nearby, that they would like a couple of those insulators for their display because it's of the era of that. It's electric trolley. So what I'm going to do is throw on my gear. Pretty much all ready to roll here. I don't think I'm missing anything. Got my little flag, so I'm safe. I'll talk to you a little bit more after I get underwater. Well, not underwater, but when I get back home and I'm editing the video. I'll be quiet. Let's get in the water. Hold your breath. Okay, here we go. I'm going to give you a little voiceover, let you know what I'm doing. No glove, but there's a glove on the other hand. I need a bare hand to work the camera controls. It's a fishing weight. Luckily, there's no hook attached to it. That's a freshwater mussel. That's part of the reproductive cycle. If you listen, you can actually hear it. Which is weird because when I'm in the water with them, I don't hear that noise. I only discovered that when I was editing the video. It's kind of an irony signal. But I want to check to make sure it's not a bayonet or a musket barrel or something like that. And it's half of a rusted fish hook. Crawling up and over some logs. Iron signal. I'm letting some of the iron go here because there's a lot of trash just to my left on the bank. So the smaller stuff I'm just let go. That was definitely a squeaker, so it's going to be a non-ferrous or non-iron target. Could be a bullet, could be a fishing weight, could be anything like that. See it right there, and it is a big flat rock. Sorry, I thought it was a piece of lead, flat lead. Still in the hole. Alright, wedged up in the crack, and it's a big, what we call egg sinker. That's a fishing weight that looks kind of like an egg, and you put the line through that, all the way through the weight itself. Big old beer can. That's kind of an old one, but some more trash over there. Looks like somebody's trash can, actually. Alright, so I'm looking for those insulators now. I know they're up in this area somewhere. Not really metal detecting right now. I'm just trying to visually find them. There's one off to the left. I'm going to pass up for some reason. Lots of irony things. I'm going to turn that off so it doesn't beep so much. That's kind of weird. That's got a piece of lead pipe sticking out of it. I'm not sure what it is. Just weird. There's one of the insulators I'm going to get for that guy. I'm going to pick up a couple of them. I think those insulators are probably like earlier 1900s up to maybe 1950. Trying to get away from the leeches. They like to be up in that muddy, grassy area. So if I can get out of that, I'll get fewer leeches on my face. And that's always a good thing. Just making sure all my settings are where I want them to be. That's a squeaker. You see I've already fanned some of the rocks away from it, but it's still buried. I haven't seen it yet. You notice I do have a glove on the one hand. It's a piece of lead, and it's another egg sinker. Modern, you know, it could be 50 years old, could be 5 years old. Big old piece of iron. I think it's a big spike of some sort. Solid iron spike. That could be Civil War era very easily, or even colonial era. Or more modern, it's hard to say really. Another piece of iron, that is a horseshoe, or half of a horseshoe. A lot of people think that I'm finding ox shoes, and ox shoes do look similar, but I know that's not an ox shoe. Here's another one of those freshwater mussels. It's trying to attract a fish, like a bass, and the bass would nibble on it, and as the bass nibbles on it, well, I'll tell you the rest of the story in just a minute. Another horseshoe. The air escaping from it, from the horseshoe itself when I tapped on it. It's kind of weird, isn't it? A nice irony signal. I suspect it's going to be a horseshoe, but you never know. Could be a gun wrench or cylinder to a nice revolver. But it's a half a horseshoe. Ox shoes are quite different looking. They do have that half horseshoe shape, but they're wider and they're finished on both ends. They don't have a ragged, broken end. Bullets usually read up in the 70s. After a while, I kind of quit digging some of the lower 50s because they're usually just sinkers, smaller sinkers. It's a nice iron signal there. Seemed like it was a little bit bigger than a horseshoe to me. Oh, yeah. Well, shotgun shell. So we have lead pellets, maybe, and there's other iron in the shotgun shell. The pellets might not actually be lead, though. The modern ones for waterfowl aren't lead. They can't use lead anymore because it poisons the birds when they eat it, or if they catch a pellet that doesn't kill them, it can still poison them. That's why I didn't give that nice high lead sound. It was unfired, so the pellets were still in it. Not sure what's going on here. We'll find out in a minute. See some rust. It's pretty deep down in the gravel, so that's usually a good sign. Been in the river a while and it's had opportunity to kind of sift down through. There it is. You can see the black. That's what iron looks like underwater if it hasn't been exposed. Not sure if that's half of a horseshoe or something else. I think it might be half a horseshoe. It might have actually broke that one. If you looked at the end, it was a little bit shiny. See a little channel going up through the sandbars. That's caused by the current and all, you know, rocks and stuff that are down there. So I like to detect those because you don't have to go down through the sand. Anywhere there's sand like that, that's where the lighter stuff like pull tabs will collect. Little pieces of aluminum. Doesn't mean there aren't bullets and cannonballs there, just that you're gonna have to dig more pull tabs than if you just stay away from that area. The pull tab. Never mind. It was right in the middle of that channel. But generally speaking, that's what happens. That big rock probably kind of sucked it into there. One of the last floods. Hear the glass tinkling away. A big irony signal. Sounds like it's, you know, decent size, worth exploring. Here the pinpointer is not really going absolutely crazy, so that tells me it's still down a ways. You know, if it was really close to the surface with the pinpointer touching it, it would just be like a solid beat. So this took a while to dig up. You can see I did a transition there. Probably could have spent 15 or 20 minutes digging this piece so far. It's really cemented to the rocks by natural adhesion from the iron leaching out of the object and getting into the sand and gravel nearby. What could it be? You notice how the silt I'm stirring up is kind of black. That tells me it's definitely iron, and that's pieces of the iron coming off the object, the rust. That's a chain. A trace chain. It's off of a wagon. Could be Civil War era, could be colonial, but it's definitely a good old, big old piece of chain. Nice little find. Another piece of iron. Let's go ahead and dig this thing up. Could be a cylinder from a Civil War revolver. I've found those before. About the right size. Signal. Uh-oh, not hearing it. Which is odd. I'm looking way down to see if it's like aluminum foil, because aluminum foil will often sound like iron, and it's light, so it floats. Okay, it's a horseshoe. Half a horseshoe was a little bit further upstream than I put my coil down to, so I kind of missed it originally. Another mussel. Okay, so fish comes up to it, it nibbles on those things, and that mussel will shoot out, let's just call them eggs, like baby eggs, into the fish's mouth. The eggs will get on the gills, and they go through a life stage where they actually live on the fish's gills for a while. And after some time, plenty of air there, and after some time they fall off of the gills and start growing a shell on the river bottom. Doesn't hurt the fish at all. But they have to have fish in order to propagate. The mussels do. If you listen in the background, you can hear another one. The last clip. But you'll hear that occasionally through the video, where there's one off to the side, maybe I don't see, and you can hear them making those weird noises, those boom, 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 boom noises. Again, I think they're trying to attract, that's part of trying to attract the fish. The little bass that you see swimming around me occasionally. That's bedrock right there, solid rock. Nothing can get deeper than that. So when I fanned it, it moved. So it's probably lighter weight. It's probably not a bullet. And yep, piece of aluminum. I think it might be part of a prop, like a prop to a outboard motor, maybe. Thick aluminum. Nice solid squeak there. Already got the hole halfway dug, and it is a piece of junk. I think it was just like a nut of some sort, like a king nut of some sort, or something like that. Piece of pottery. A coin. That is a modern penny. Could have been lost by someone swimming out there, I suppose. It's a tire gauge to check the air pressure in your automobile or boat trailer, I guess. Oh boy, that's a good squeaker, huh? So I'm going to look at the number for you. It's another 81, good solid squeaker, a little higher than a bullet. So I'm very hopeful on this one. It's going to be something good. Ah, it's a coin. It's another penny. I'm rubbing it because I'm pretty much assuming it's going to be another modern one, not even a wheat penny. Some type of little gauge thing. I'm not sure what that is or what it went to. I would never rub like what I thought might be a good coin with my fingers full of sand underwater like that. Solid bedrock. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Big iron. I'm going to skip it. Another big iron. Looks like a musket barrel or a piece of pipe. So I'm going to look at it, see if it has a taper to it. A pipe will be the same diameter all the way through. A musket barrel will go from smaller to bigger, and that looked to me to be pretty much the same all the way through. Although from here it looks like it's tapered, but in real life I'm pretty sure it was just a piece of pipe. Piece of pot metal. It's like white metal, not aluminum, but just a piece of junk. Another piece of iron. That is a solid chunk of iron. Is cast, and if you look at the end, you can see it's got like a little eyelet in it, like a sewing needle. That's actually a weight for a window, probably a window, what we call a window weight, surprisingly, for the big old heavy windows that used to be in some of the. I don't know what that is. That was in a can, something that hardened, like cement or paint. But those window weights would have been in great big windows in the old-timey houses that were heavy to lift. That helped with lifting the windows. I'm not sure. Looks like a spike. Not sure about that one. How bizarre, how bizarre. Strange creatures, eh? Bass off in the distance. I think that's a ringer to maybe an old telephone or even an alarm clock. But I think they went to telephones. Kind of coppery substance. Sounded really good. Some piece of glass with some copper around it. I'm not sure what that might go to. That was odd. Big chunk of iron all encrusted. It's got like a D-ring or something on it, though. I thought it might be part of a horse bit, but not so sure. Oh, boys, I got out to change my tank. And, well, I guess it's a thunderstorm, so we're going home. Let's see you on the next one, I hope.
She'll shake the coins from your pocket, take your gold chain and your locket. Mother Earth has no sympathy. She'll take the ring from your hand and bury it.